The Indigenous Literacy Foundation would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the Yuin, Cunnamulla and Tiwi countries, where these stories were shared. And to all the Aboriginal people who shared their stories, languages and cultures within this film, we acknowledge your elders, ancestors and countries. We would like to extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples, recognising ongoing connections to country, community and cultures. We pay our respects to First Nation peoples, the narratives, traditions and practices, and to elders both past and present. In doing so, we would also like to pay respects to the lands, waterways and skies, and countries that we belong to. We acknowledge the nourishment they give us to sustain our languages, our cultures, and our stories. We wish to pay our respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander children, as they will become our future leaders, elders, and custodians of country. May they continue to keep the fire of our strength burning brightly.
Hey you mob, happy Indigenous Literacy Day. This year, we're celebrating the proud voices for country from all over Australia. Did you know that Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples have been on this continent for thousands of generations? And we're connected to the land, seas, skies, plants, and animals through songlines and dreaming stories. Australia is made up of many different Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander nations with lots of different stories, cultures, and languages. On Indigenous Literacy Day and every day of the year, we invite you to learn from these proud voices for country. We're going to hear stories about the Mundagutta living in the Warrego River on Cunnamulla country in Cunnamulla, southwest Queensland. You might even learn how to catch a barra or trevally and go looking for turtle eggs on the Tiwi Islands in the Northern Territory. But first, let's head to Yuin country, Vincentia, on the south coast of New South Wales and catch some kids dancing to the didge on the beach and learn about what country means to them. I'll see you there.
When I go diving, I get abs, lobsters and mara. I get what I need to feed my family. Minga, baba, ba dara, waragada. Jajawan is smooth and soft. Wurwara is yellow and calm. As I hit that dark shade of the reef, everything on my mind goes away. Fear transforms into motivation. All my senses are alive. And before I know it, instinct kicks in. Ngai agamaya. Bajum baga baradarada.
Towards the end of last year, we ran 2 3-day workshops out at the beautiful Green Patch in Budering National Park. And over those 6 days, the students were immersed in culture and creativity, and they worked together to come up with a book of poems, as well as a children's book about 2 boys going on a cultural journey, learning more about who they are. The title of the book is Ngayawain Bagangul, Ngayawain Badabarangul, and it means we belong to the land, we belong to the sea. When we came up with this title, we really wanted to portray or explain the relationship that these students and this community has with the ocean and the land.
It's really good to get out on country, connect with the people and the language, and end up with something that we can look back on in years to come and be proud of that.
I connect with country by dancing, speaking the language, even just talking to my aunties at school, learning about the history of my culture.
Getting out on the lands and celebrating our culture and everything. It also connects via learning the language.
It's very important to me to learn language. It's definitely the way forward for our community.
Gani, I would sound that out as ga, and then with the NJ, pretend that the J is a Y, and so you're making it sound like ny, and then I is on the end, and so it would be Gani.
I love the fact that they're renewing it. I love the fact that kids are using words that we knew all our lives, but we were never allowed to speak it. My grandmother, my mother, and all of my aunties. Knowing that people care enough to want to rejuvenate our language just makes me so warm inside, because I know my mother wasn't allowed to speak it. She'd say things in the house, but not much, and probably not good words. But she wasn't allowed to talk it, and I think that we lost out a lot because she wasn't allowed to.
There's been this glorious resurgence where people in this area, in our situation, Durga, there's a real push to revive it and get it spoken. And so from all the schools in this area, we're really lucky to run an Aboriginal language program. It's the most beautiful experience to see these students, Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal students, embrace language, have conversations in language, learn to see the world through a different lens.
I'd really like to learn more about my language and my culture, just so I can pass it on to the upcoming leaders. I'm from Wreck Bay. I grew up around the water, and I love the community around here. Yeah, it's really caring, sharing, beautiful community. Being connected to communities because I'm around my family and my friends. The people around me I know are good people, and I'm with the water and the sand. That's the only thing I need really in a community is water, because that's where I'm from.
You can't have country without our community and our people. Country is embedded in our kids. It runs in their veins because the country is in them. They carry it everywhere that they go. And so when they have the opportunity to be proud of their country, but practice their belief, their traditions, their culture, it produces beautiful work. Whether it's a written word, whether it's a poem, how they move, dance, sing, make artworks.
Before we dance and that, we normally put this stuff on. It's called ochre, and that helps us connect with the land, bring our ancestors up or down from wherever they are, just to come and watch us do dancing and that, and it helps the mother know that we're here for her.
Language storytelling and writing is important to be done on country because we all are country.
I've lived in Cunnamulla most of my life. In my younger years, moved away, but always found our roots back home. And one thing that calls us back is this beautiful, unique thing behind us here, our Warrego River.
Can't go without a swim in the river. My connection with the river is strong. I go camping a lot, go on fishing trips. That's our source of food.
Well, our sources of food that come from the river is the yellow belly, that's the main food, the Murray cod, yabbies, which we call booglies, but I should say also what we call fish is guyu. It's like the L is like a y sound, Y, guyu. Back in our younger days, I remember seeing our elders eat mussels out the river, and they're cooked up on the fire too. They're just the things, you see these things when you're young and they don't leave you. They sort of stick to you, and you bring your kids up doing the same thing. Look up to her mouth, eat the berries.
We're digging a hole.
I loved growing up out this way. Yeah, I loved going hunting. Our grandfather, he used to go to walk for work. He used to travel to Burke, and that was on foot.
Times were tough back in them days, but they survived and they knew how to survive.
Yeah.
It was just amazing hearing the stories and the ways they got through things, like living in those days over at the Yamba, living in harmony, living in peace over there because everyone shared, everyone looked out and cared for each other. Growing up, we were always told by our mother and by our aunties, uncles about the Murugata, the creature that is believed to live in the water, so the rainbow serpent. We've always known all of our lives that going to the river you have to be careful, don't go there on your own, be gone from there by dark time, always be there with people who can look out for you. One well-known waterhole is the Sandy Point, which is, we're told, the Murugata, that's where he lives. There's caves under there, underwater caves. That Murugata, he travelled through them caves out to other waterholes, out to other rivers, down the Darling, right down to Wentworth and Victoria. That's the belief that we have, and we have no reason not to believe because our elders told us those stories and we strongly believe them, that's where our knowledge comes from.
The outback and the river, spending time with family and friends. There's lots of people that can be your friend, and a lot of kind people. I go in my canoe at the boat ramp and canoe around the deep trees. Playing with my cousins, playing football, and riding my motorbike and swimming in the river with all my other friends.
I think a lot of it is, for me, is very, very spiritual and how we connect to the country. And a big part of it now is about teaching the kids, taking them out and teaching them all about the country and what's on it, and try to build on their cultural identity through a connection to country on country. And that way they're not lost, they're just learning about themselves while they're little. We take the little prep classes, grade ones, everyone out and walk them. Teach them all the different plants, cultural and natural uses and values of stuff. Country's changing all the time, so it's important that we keep looking after it and try to build that knowledge in our little ones as quick as we can, because it's going to keep changing. Don't want to lose that connection if we can help it.
Country is everywhere. It's the lifeblood of who we are as a people, as a nation, and we need to protect it for generations to come.
Karagoramo, Kalapragane, Kotomo, Berpakang Pakoloni, Ape, Eva, Abapre, Ape Berpaka, Pupuna Kala, Apuya Pupuna, Project Ramo, Karang Pakoloni, Andre Moa, Karapagane. Yado Project Ramo, Onabra, Puna Kalapragane, Patuapura, where to my country, I love my country.
My country is at Mala. What are you? I think it's important to connect to countries so you can pass it on to the next generation and connect to spirits and nature. We sometimes call out to our ancestors, let them know we're swimming and we're on the beach. So I went to see the turtle trap, got a stick, poking in the sand to see how deep the turtle dig, and digging for the turtle eggs, but didn't want to grab some, just let them grow and live. We went to Wollonga Beach. There was rock filled with white clay, Rudiyangini. We grabbed some, put them in a bucket and took it to the school for the kids.
Why we are painted, it's this, so that the spirit in the spirit world don't recognize who we are. Why we have smoking ceremony for the spirits of our people to protect you safely while you're on our land, but also it protect us as well from bad spirits, evil spirits, and safety as well. So the culture that we have here, our Tiwi culture, is still retained and maintained through us, where we're teaching our young kids. We can't lose it, because that's where we find our strength. in our country.
My country is Purampanali Cast Lake Beach, and I'm part of the Woollooranku clan group. I'm an island girl. Salt water, it's part of who we are, provides food for us. It's also quite calming and soothing. I like listening to the waves at night when I'm camping. There's a few things that I really love about living on the Tiwi Islands. One of them is this. Something else that I love is being able to get out to my country, so my grandfather's country, Purampanali. When I'm out on that country, I feel at home because that beach that I walk on today, it's the same beach that my mother walked on when she was a little girl. It's the same beach that my grandparents, great-grandparents and all my ancestors have walked on, and that's the place that they would camp, that's the place that they would hunt. And I love that I'm here with family. And that we're still strong with language and culture, and that we get to share that quite often.
We come from country, so you really can't be separated from it. And the more in tune with it that we are, the more happier we are. The country kind of just immerses you in it, and you are with its flow. It teaches you lots of lessons, and it provides for you. There is so much value in traditional ways of being and knowing. We feel better when we're in tune with that, and that everybody has a responsibility to continually learn. Whether you're First Nations or not, you have an active role to play in our reconciliation.
Country is everything because it gives us a sense of belonging where we're from, our ancestors. It gives us strength because this is where we belong. Everyone's got different areas, different country. That's who we are. That's where our ancestors started. And country is like everything.
It's important for me to know Tiwi language so I can pass it on to my next generation.
Things were passed down to me from my mother, and things were passed down to her from her parents and grandparents. We need to continue that on with the young ones so that they can continue it on with their children and grandchildren so they can keep culture strong and alive.
It's important for my kids because the knowledge won't be forgotten. If I teach my kids and my kids can teach their kids, and the knowledge will keep going forever.
Hey, what about all these proud voices keeping their knowledge of country, culture and language strong? Thank you to these incredible communities for sharing your stories. Now let's keep the celebrations going and head inside the Sydney Opera House, where we got new books to launch and lots of big stars performing. So stay tuned and get ready for all the action.
Again and pick some more berries up. Ew, yucky, that's kaki poo.
Get a lot of fish out there. Actually, no, you don't get a lot of fish out there.
Won't do.
The Wreck Bay community have embraced us. Mind you, we're mostly related.
The worst thing that's ever been done to me on this trip, I was there toiling away trying to catch one fish. I don't ask for a lot, just one little fish. Half an hour, nothing. Tic Tac comes along with her little reel, and then she just pulls in a fish.
I'm just an expert, what can I say?